Clock Tower Queen and the 13 Forgotten Hours. When the sky grew lavender with the hush of twilight and golden stars blinked awake like fireflies in the dark, a soft chime echoed through the valley of Merlot. Not a harsh bell, but a clear melodic tune like glass touched by moonlight. In the heart of the valley stood a tall, ancient clock tower, wrapped in trailing ivy and mystery. Its clock face was carved from crystal and shimmered faintly under starlight. But tonight something was different. Only 12 chimes rang out when there should have been 13. Inside the tower, Queen Maria stood. She was not a queen of battle or court. No, she was the keeper of time, guardian of dreams, and ruler of the hidden 13th hour. A space of magic where time paused and dreams wandered freely. She wore no crown, only a clock of stardust and a silver pendant that ticked like a pocket watch. Her eyes opened slowly, bright as the moon on water. She stepped barefoot across the wooden floor of her chamber, each plank carved with ancient runes that shivered faintly beneath her steps. Something tugged at the threads of time. One of the arts had gone missing. A lost star, she whispered, brushing her fingers over the great pendulum that hung in the center of the tower. Now swaying unevenly and just any hour, the 13th. Wind rustled through the curtains, carrying the state of lavender and ink, the smell of forgotten stories. The clock tower queen wrapped her cloak tighter around her and began descending a spiral staircases, her shadow trailing behind her like soft smoke. Far below in the dreamling archives, an endless hallway of scrolls and books that tracked the flow of time. Something shimmered and blinked out. One of the dream scrolls had vanished. The queen paused. There was no ancient someone or something had taken the hour. Outside the world continued on, unaware. Cats curled tighter in their windows as children rolled over in their sleep. The moon dipped lower, painting silver paths over the sea. But deep within the tower, a plain was forming. Maria called for her companion, a clock-tower sparrow named Ticker. He flew down from the rafters with a soft weird eye glowing gently blue. He perched on her shoulder, ticking faintly like a teeny metronome. We must find the 13th, she murmured, before time unravels. Ticker crept, and a small map unfurled from his chest, a sky map, dotted with constellations and swirling mist, but in the center was a hole, a blank pulsing space where the 13th hour was used to rest. It's been hidden, the queen said softly, or maybe stole it. Ticker let out a mechanical hum and flapped toward the window. A gust of wind flew in, scattering parchment and stardust. The queen lifted her hand and a lantern floated to her side, glowing with pale blue light. I will need more than light to find what is lost, she said. I will need the key. She reached into a drawer beneath the great grandfather clock and pulled out a small shimmering key with a crescent shaped handle and teeth like a starlight. It had only one purpose, to unlock the path to the forgotten hours. As Queen Maria stepped out onto the highest balcony of the clock tower, clouds swirled above her in the curious silence. The stars blinked anxiously below. The village slept on, unaware that time itself had lost its balance. She placed the key into the air and a quiet click echoed into night. A door shone in the sky shaped like a hourglass glowing gently waiting. She steps through, and just like that, the queen vanished into the place where missing hours go. The sky beyond the door was not a sky at all. It shimmered like a glass soaked in ink, where stars swirled like tiny lanterns cats in a word book. Queen Maria stepped lightly across a narrow bridge made of ticking gears and mist. Each footstep sounded like a whispering clock hand. This was the hollow between minutes, a secret passage that only those bound to the flow of time could enter. It stretched on forever, bending through lost second past street and echoes of forgotten lobbies. Ticker fluttered beside her, wings blowing softly. The map still hums. He crept softly, a faint golden trail curling ahead. The queen nodded. Then the hour has not been destroyed, only hidden. But by whom? They walked in silence past floating eyeglasses suspended in starlight, each one marking the birth of a memory. Some had cracked, one even dripped upside down, letting golden sand fall upward. As they moved deeper into the hollow, the bridge narrowed and the air grew thick with the scent of wild thyme and parchment. Suddenly, the lantern beside Maria flickered, then dimmed. Someone is waiting, she whispered, her eyes narrowing. From the mist ahead, a shape emerged, a figure in a dark cloak stitched with silver thorns. The hood shadowed the stranger's face, but their voice was smooth and low like velvet soaked in night. You see what was never yours to keep, said the figure. The 13 hour belong to the old magics now. Maria stood tall, her voice calm. I am its keeper. It was not taken from me, it was stolen from time itself. The clocked one tilted their head, and yet doesn't time forget as often as it remembers? Was if the hour wished to be lost? Ticker clipped defensively, fluffing his feathers. I will return what was misplaced, Maria said gently, with or without your help. The figure said nothing more, only raised one hand. The mist around them curled and pulsed, revealing a door. But this one was not like the one she had opened before. This one breathed. Its surface shimmered like moonlit water, and as its center was a clock face with no hands. A riddle door, Maria murmured. The figure gave a quiet chuckle and vanished into the mist, leaving only the door and its riddle carved in silver. What our neighbor shines yet always returns, one of hush, your memory birds. Tickle tilted his head. That's tricky. The queen knelt before the door, thinking her finger grazed the smooth stardust surface. What are never times, she repeated, yet always returns. The lantern flickered again. It's this time not with fear, but warmth. A soft memory floated to her, a lullaby her mother once sang. Long before Maria wore clocks of stardust or held the key to time, a lullaby sung during the quietest moment of night just before morning. Her eyes widened. The forgotten hour is the first dawn. The moment before birth song, my dreams are strongest. She pressed her hand to the door. Answer. The hour before morning. With a gentle hum, the clock face pulsed, then opened. Inside was not darkness, but golden light, and floating in the center of it all was a silver pocket watch, glowing with the soft rhythm of a heartbeat. The 13th hour. But before she could step through, something stirred. A deep growl echoed from beyond the golden wheat, low, ancient, and heavy with dust. Ticker flew in front of her, shielding her with his teeny metal wings. Not alone, he whispered. The queen's eyes narrowed. Someone is guarding it. A shape moved in the light, then another. The guardians of the 13th were waking. The golden light shimmered like a wheel, rippling gently as Queen Maria stepped closer. The pocket watch hovered mid-air, ticking with a sound that echoed in her bones, soft, steady, ancient. But surrounding it now were three figures forming slowly from choirs of the stardust and time thread. The first was a wolf, made entirely of fog and feathers, with eyes like candlesticks and paws that left no sound. The second, a great winged hare with constellations scattered across its back like sickles. And the third, a creature unlike anything she had seen before, half sword, half clock, the silver plumage that ticked when it moved. The guardians of the hour whispered Ticker, lighting gently on her shoulder. The only awaking when the balance of time is threatened. The wolf growled low, not from anger but from warning. Maria raised both hands slowly, her voice soft and steady. I have come to return the 13th hour, not to take it. The hare's long ears twitched. Its starlit eyes blinked slowly. Suddenly, the clockbird spoke, its voice a chorus of chimes. Only one who remembers what was lost may carry what was forgotten. Maria closed her eyes. The hollow between minutes faded from her mind, and she let herself drift back to the days before she was queen, before time's weight crowned her. She remembered being a child in the tower, holding her mother's hand as the sunrise whispered across the floor. Her mother had pointed to the horizon and said, "The best magic comes when no one is looking." She opened her eyes. The 13th eye belonged to the quiet before dawn, the space between endings and beginnings. It was never truly mine, but I have remembered it and I will protect it. The wolf stepped aside, the hare bowed its head, the bird clock blinked once, and the golden gill dissolved. Maria stepped forward and gently reached out. The moment her finger brushed the pocket watch, it unraveled. Not into gears but into stardust, falling gently in her clock's lining, in first once, then silence. A breath passed, ticker exhales, you did it. But the ground beneath them trembled. Suddenly the mist above cracked like glass. The hollow between minutes shimmered wildly, as though something was trying to tear through time itself. No, Maria whispered, it's not over. From the mist behind the riddle door, a cold wind swept through. With it came a voice, thin and sharp like a snapped thread. You were never meant to succeed. A figure appeared, tall, draped in layers of fading shadows and broken clocks. A mask of cracked porcelain hid their face. The hour was lost for a reason, the masked one hissed. It held more than time, it held choice. Tigger flew back, wings fluttered nervously. Who is that? Maria stood tall, a forgotten weaver, she said, a fragment of the old magic who wanted the hour buried. The weaver lifted one hand, threads of grey light spun into the air, trying to stitch the hollow shut around them. You cannot hold it, the weaver said, voice racing like wind through dry leaves. You cannot return what the world forgot. Maria held her ground. I already have. And with that, the watch's close surged beneath her drop, sending a soft ring of golden light through the hollow. The bridge steadied. The wheel of the stars ripped calm. The guardian raised their head, standing beside her. The weaver stepped back, their shadows unraveling. This is not the end, clocked our queen. They whispered, some hours should remain lost. Then, just like a broken memory, they vanished. The hollow fell still. Maria turned, cradling the glow of the 13th hour close to her heart. We must go, she said gently. The tower awaits. Tika nodded, brushing a feather against her cheek, and time will begin to melt. The bridge of gears and mist reformed before them, but as they stepped onto it, the star above shifted, ever so slightly, and one small clock at the edge of the hollow began ticking backward. The bridge beneath Queen Maria's feet swayed gently, a ribbon of gears and mist stretching through a night sky that hummed with quiet time magic. Each step felt softer now, as though the hollow between minutes recognized her as its keeper again. Beside her, Ticker glided in slow loops, his glowing feathers leaving traces like ink in water. The three guardians, the fog wolf, the star-like hare, and the bird clock, walked ahead without sound, clearing the path as they moved. We are nearly there, said Ticker in a hush, the tower's edge. Once the 30th hour is returned, the city's time will be easier again. Dreams will no longer flicker. Maria placed her hand over the glowing one nestled inside her clock. The 13th hour no longer ticked like a clock. It breathed slow and steady like a sleeping world. As they crossed the final arch of the bridge, the hollow faded behind them. Before them rose the clock tower taller than memory, broader than thought. The sky bent through it and its bell, through silence, shimmered like they remembered how to sing. But something else stirred. From above, a breeze began to drift downward, not cold, not warm, but scattered. Teeny grains danced in the air, clipping and soft. Is that snow? Maria scarred gently. Ticker's eyes narrowed. No, sand. A soft breeze echoed across the sky. Suddenly, out of the clouds drifted an enormous hourglass, upside down, suspended by invisible string. Its twin globes rotated slowly, and from its neck spurted sand that shimmered with forgotten light. The hourglass wind whispered the air, its voice like wind through reeds. Its no ornament time and rebels or begin again. The fog wolves growled low, the hourglass was tilting, its balance threatened. If it stopped, the fragile threads of time might unravel, scattering minutes into centuries or folding days into nothing at all. We are too late. Picker said. No, Maria said firmly. We still have the hour and the tower. She turned toward the ancient doors of the clock tower, but found them shut tight, sealed with iron vines and marking that shimmered like constellations. Another riddle, she breathed. From the doorway, an itching began to glow. Return what was taken, but take not what remains. Speak the forgotten, and silence unchanged. The hourglass above groaned, its sand flowing faster. Maria stood still. Her eyes closed. In the quiet, she thought not of her role, not of her duty, but of the stillness before sunrise. The golden hush between stars and morning, that was the 13th hour. She whispered, Hope. The vines did not move. She whispered again, Choice? Nothing. Then she opened her eyes and whispered the one word she had carried since childhood. Before she was queen, before she was even curious. Wonder. The doors creaked, the iron pines untwisted like sighs. The constellation dimmed, making way. The clock tower obeyed. Inside the gear per still dust lay untouched. As though it had been waiting for someone kind enough to remember, a great pedestal stood in the center. Above it, suspended in glass, spun the shadow of a missing hour, waiting, flickering. Maria reached into her clock. The 13th hour floated upward, softly drifted to the hollow space and settled in. The tower trembled, not violently, but like a heart learning to beat again. Above the hourglass pulse, its sand began to flow normally once more, soft as lullabies. The wind quieted. Tika landed beside her, eyes wide. You have done it. But Maria frowned, her voice hushed. Then why does it feel unfinished? As she turned, the three guardians began to fade, returning to their slumber, their duty complete. Maria took one last step to the balcony. The sky had changed. It was not morning, it was something colder. A thin golden path stretched beyond the tower, through clouds over the edge of the world, and far in the distance a shadow waited, just beyond the 13th chime. The path of golden mist shimmered beneath Queen Maria's feet as she stepped beyond the balcony. It did not feel like air of or stone, but like memory. Every footstep stirred faint echoes, like lullabies once sung and forgotten. Behind her, the clock tower stood tall and steady once more. Its gears now ticking with soft purpose. The 13th hour had returned, but something tugged gently at Maria's thoughts, a whisper in the weave of time. Where does the 13th chime ring? She asked aloud, more to herself than to anyone. Ticker flitted beside her, his feather humming with a rhythm older than a star. No clock has ever struck in, but every dreamer had heard it just once. Maria's hand brushed the hourglass pendant that now rested silently around her neck, the final gift of the guardians before they vanished into the fog. The golden path led toward a place hidden just beyond dawn. The sky ahead rippled with colored peach and lavender and moon silver, woven together like threads in a morning shawl, and at its center stood a shape. A figure clock in strands of mist and feathers waited beneath an arch of floating bells. Her face shimmered like moonlight reflected in water. Welcome, the figure said softly. Her voice a lullaby and a sunrise at once. You have brought the final piece. Maria's bowed slightly. Are you the keeper of the chime? The woman smiled gently. I am its echo, its memory, its hush before the world wakes. She stepped aside, and the bells above her began to shimmer and sway. There were 12, each one rang softly as a breeze passed, their tones blended into a harmony that stirred the heart. But there are only 12, Maria said. The woman nodded until someone remembers 13, not as a sound but as a silence. Picker tilted his head. A silence, the kind you feel just before something beautiful. The woman said, like a wish about to bloom, like the space between stars. She held out her head, and the hourglass bandit floated up. Slowly it turned, and the 13th bell, the one never rung, began to glow faintly. Maria felt the hush ripple outward. Every tree in the city slowed its sway. Every breeze grew warmer. Every dreamer turned slightly in their sleep, smiling without waking. Then, without a sound, the 13th chime rang. Not with noise, but with stillness, a gentle pause, a deep sigh, and time settled. In the sky above, clouds turned serene and the cloud tower glowed from within, and Maria, for the first time in years, felt rested. The woman touched her hand once more. The hour is safe now, she whispered, and so are the dreams. Picker rested on Maria's shoulder. Will you stay here, my queen? Maria looked around at the golden path, the silent bells, and deepening hush of time. Then she smiled softly. No, the city needs stories again, and I think I like to watch the sunrise. The path behind her curved back to the clock tower, now alive with soft chimes and glowing windows as she went back. Dawn unfurled across the sky in ribbons of gold and honey. The clock tower bells rang once more, 12 soft notes, followed by a breath. Not a 13th sound, but the space for it. And in that space, dreams settled, safe and timeless.